It goes without saying that life on Earth as a whole is solar powered. Plants and other autotrophs, being the producers of the biosphere, use photosynthesis to create energy for themselves and organisms that consume them. All organisms use organic compounds for energy, but there are two types of methods for obtaining organic compounds: autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. Autotrophs produce their organic molecules from CO2 and other inorganic raw materials obtained from the environment. Heterotrophs live on organic compounds produced by other organisms. Let's talk about how that's done. In plants, photosynthesis is a method of obtaining organic molecules and energy from the environment. There are two parts to this process: the light reactions and the Calvin cycle. In light reactions, light energy transfers to chlorophyll. Chlorophyll passes energy down through the electron transport chain, providing energy that splits H2O and bonds P to ADP, forming ATP. When H2O is split, H plus and NADP plus bond to form NADPH, and oxygen is released. These things are then carried over into the Calvin cycle. For the Calvin cycle to begin, the plant lets CO2 diffuse into it from the outside environment, and then adds it to RuBP, and uses the ATP and NADPH to create G3P, which can be utilized to synthesize starch, amino acids, fatty acids, and most importantly, sucrose. Then RuBP is regenerated and the cycle starts again. This is how plants live on a day-to-day basis. For animals, the process is very different. They use a three-stage process called cellular respiration. The first stage is called glycolysis. It's a 10-step process that occurs in the cytoplasm. It converts each molecule of glucose to two molecules of pyruvate. It doesn't require any oxygen. The net output of ATP in this stage is 2 per glucose molecule. There's also a net output of 2 NADH per glucose. The pyruvate diffuses into the inner compartment of the mitochondria, where a transition reaction, called the link reaction, occurs. It serves to prepare the pyruvate for the next stage afterward. Pyruvate, NAD+, and coenzyme work together to create NADH, CO2, and acetyl-CoA, which is when the Krebs cycle is ready to start. The Krebs cycle occurs in the inner mitochondrial matrix. The acetyl group detaches from coenzyme A and enters the reaction cycle. This cycle requires O2 to work, which is why it's an aerobic process. From this cycle, we only have a net yield of another 2 ATP per glucose, N per 2 acetyl-CoA. We also see a net gain of 6 NADH and 2 FADH2 from this. By the end of this stage, the oxidation of glucose to CO2 is complete. Now we enter the ETC, or electron transport chain. It consists of a series of enzymes on the inner mitochondrial membrane. The electron transport chain consists of a series of enzymes on the inner mitochondrial membrane. Electrons are released from NADH and from FADH2, and as they are passed along the series of enzymes, they give up energy which is used to fuel a process called chemiosmosis, by which H plus ions are actively transported across the inner mitochondrial membrane into the outer mitochondrial compartment. The H plus ions then flow back through the special pores in the membrane, a process that is thought to drive the process of ATP synthesis. This is where the majority of the ATP is made, with a net gain in this stage of 30 to 34 AP per glucose molecule. 6 water particles are also formed when the electrons unite with O2 at the end of the electron transport chain. When you breathe in and out, this is what is happening inside of you. Thanks to many years of evolution and optimization, your body can utilize energy with the most efficiency possible using these cycles. Maybe when you look outside and see plants being hit by sunlight, you will be able to imagine the photosynthesis going on inside the leaves.